testing out my new setup here, I want to take the opportunity to answer one of my Instagram friends' questions about reverse dieting. So first of all, what is reverse dieting? Reverse dieting is the process of increasing the number of calories that you're burning per day. That is done by strategically increasing the amount of food that you're eating. But before you get too excited, let's talk about what reverse dieting is not. Reverse dieting is not just eating as many cupcakes, cookies, bagels, chips, and whatever else you feel like eating in order to increase your metabolism. That is a great way to gain a lot of fat and not be very happy with me when you say, hey, I tried reverse dieting and all I got was a lot of weight gain. So when you are reverse dieting, you are intentionally, strategically increasing your calories very slowly and choosing nutritious, nutrient-dense foods to use to increase those calories in order to increase the maintenance number of calories that your body burns at rest. It's a good idea to do reverse dieting whenever you've been in a prolonged calorie deficit. So if you've been dieting, cutting calories for a very long time, oftentimes your metabolism lowers so much that it's time to do a reverse diet to bring the maintenance levels back up. It's also a good idea if you don't necessarily want to lose any weight, but you're finding yourself having difficulty putting on muscle and maintaining your overall energy levels. So the first step in determining whether or not you need to reverse diet is taking an honest assessment of your particular nutrition. How many calories are you actually eating every single day? You need to track the number of calories as well as the macros that you're eating every single day in order to get an accurate picture of this. You can't just rely on guesswork. One of the apps that I like to use is called Chronometer, Chronometer. It's completely free, although there are some annoying ads that pop up on there unless you pay for the premium version. It will not only tell you the calories you're eating, it will also tell you the breakdowns among those calories between fats, carbohydrates, and protein. A lot of times doing this tracking is very eye-opening to clients, and they realize that they are actually eating much less protein than they assumed they were eating. And sometimes they're eating more carbs or fat than they realized that they were eating. In other cases, they may realize they are eating barely 1,400 calories a day, including tracking every single meal, every single snack, every single beverage, every single bite of food, and they're still barely reaching 1,400 or maybe 1,500 calories a day. These are the cases when I would suggest doing a reverse diet, because in order to have a meaningful weight loss, you're going to need to go into calorie deficit. If you're already only eating 1,300 or 1,400 calories just to maintain your body weight, that means you're going to have to drop down to maybe 1,200, 1,100 calories per day to be in a deficit, and that is just not sustainable for most women. If you're already an active woman, that's just not going to be enough to help you feel fueled for all your activities. So let's say you've done the tracking and you are one of these women that's only eating 1,300 or 1,400 calories a day to maintain your weight, and yet you still would like to lose a little bit of fat and hopefully put on a little bit of muscle. What should you do? The first thing to do is to shift your calories around. So if you're eating anywhere lower than your goal protein targets, I would recommend that you shift calories from carbs or fat towards protein. So we're eating the same number of total calories per day, but more of them are coming from protein and less of them are coming from carbohydrates and fats. During this period, I would make sure that you get an essential minimum amount of fats that's going to support hormone health. For most women, that's around 45 grams or so, but it really depends on your body size. And you can calculate that using online calculators. And this is an absolute minimum for the amount of fats you should get per day if you want to maintain hormone function. If you're an active individual, carbohydrates are also important. So I don't recommend cutting out carbohydrates completely. However, you need to base your carbohydrate levels kind of around your energy as well as the amount of activity you're doing, so you can play with it that way. And once you've shifted around your nutrition to focus more on the protein optimization, then if you're still feeling like you're not making much progress, then you can start to add 100 calories per week. I would suggest that comes from either protein or carbohydrates in most cases, especially if you're lifting weights, which is something I encourage all women to do. So if you'd like to add more protein, you can do that. If you'd like to add more carbohydrates, you can do that. You can continue increasing your calories by approximately 100 calories every week until you're at a level that you feel is sustainable for maintenance. Average is going to be different depending on your individual activity level and your individual body size. If your goal is to lose weight, I would try to actually actually push your maintenance calories even a little bit above what you can comfortably sustain. That way, when you go into a deficit, it's that much easier to lose fat without feeling excessively hungry or feeling like it's a struggle to maintain this amount of calories. For averages, I would say that if you can maintain on 1700 for a while, then you can go into a deficit of approximately 200 calories, getting 1500 calories per day, and you will start to lose fat. During this entire process, it's really important that you are also walking and maintaining your physical activity. This will actually increase the number of maintenance calories that you need to maintain your weight, but it's also just really good for your metabolic health in general, as well as for feeling energetic and as well as for maintaining your aerobic capacity as you're working on your nutrition. I would also suggest that if you have not been strength training, that you start strength training during this period as well, which is going to maintain your health well as you age and also assist with your fat loss efforts. Strength training is absolutely crucial if you'd like to build muscle. You cannot neglect strength training, but keep in mind that you don't need to be strength training every single day. Beginners can often get very good results with just 2 days of strength training per week, which is very reasonable and doable for most women. I hope you've enjoyed this little primer on how to reverse diet. If you're already starting from a very high maintenance level of calories, you don't have to reverse diet before you go into a calorie deficit. But if you're starting at a chronically low maintenance calorie level and you just can't contemplate cutting out any more food from your diet, reverse dieting paired with plenty of walking and strength training is the way to go.